This is Joshua 84 seconds out. Delighted to be joined by Malik Scott here in Nottingham. Malik, first of all, welcome to Nottingham. I know you've been here for a good while now.
Yes, loving it.
How is everything, first of all?
Good. Got the professional Ezra Taylor fighting Saturday, coming to make a statement. Have worked very hard in training camp. It's our first training camp together. Trials and tribulations came with it. We kept our faith. We kept pushing forward. We stayed on the grind. And now the destiny of God is going to repay us on Saturday. And we're looking forward to it.
I had the pleasure last Wednesday of being able just to catch a little bit of the glimpse of training with you and Ezra. And Ezra mentioned on stage that he was born in the trenches, he's been in the trenches, and really that means that nothing in boxing, but I can see the way that you worked him in training.
Taking him dark.
Even when he was in the trenches in there, and you brought him out. How special is that connection that you've built with Ezra in such a short space of time?
It's been, well, God works in mysterious ways because our chemistry come across so much stronger than the time match that we've actually known each other, been, fighter trainer. But it's very special. Ezra is a sponge for knowledge, and that's just not in boxing. He wants to learn so much about everything, whatever it is that can elevate him as a fighter, as a man, as a student, as a son. Like he's just about getting better. And when you're dealing with someone like that, that's going to give you their all every time out in the gym. That's going to ask questions about things they're uncertain about concerning in the gym stuff. That works hard. When I say this kid work hard, he works so hard. Ezra's the type you have to pull him back because he'll really go. But it's been beautiful, man. It's been beautiful, and he did a lot. He gave up a lot, and he sacrificed a lot to be here. And Saturday night is going to pay off for him. He's going to look good. We're aiming for it to be the best performance of his career thus far.
One thing with Ezra that we can tell that he's really passionate on away from boxing, but it's just being from here in Nottingham, and obviously being a man from Nottingham myself, I can relate to that. And for you to step in at this stage, he's not fought in Nottingham since his professional debut and where he made his debut.
Even that is crazy, right?
And the way he made his debut was literally a stone's throw away from the gym that he trains at Bilborough. He made his debut in the big leisure centre next door. For you to be in at this stage, and have you just been able to see how much this means to him just in the short time you've been working together?
It means so much to him.
How much does this mean to him? If you can put into words how much it means to him.
It's on his high priority list of something to get done. And he's not satisfied just to fight here. No, he wanted to give the Nottingham fans his hometown, a place where he started at, a place where he didn't believe in himself at, and end up believing in himself to become a fighter. This is Ezra's way of giving back to, you could say, a community of people that, gave to him concerning Coach Ray and the gym over there. And I love that gym. It reminds me so much of the gym that I come from. It's just a bit smaller. But I'm the same kid that come from Philadelphia, and my Coach Ray was Fred Jenkins. My Coach Ray looked after all the kids in North Philadelphia and in the boxing gym. That's the same thing that Ezra have with Coach Ray. So it's just so much. It's so deep, and there's so much going into this. So much good energy, so much good timing, so much good preparation that we're really expecting something big and something special on Saturday. And I believe he's going to do it and do it good like a professional.
How did the opportunity for you and Ezra to work together come around? I know I asked Ezra this last week at the gym, but from your words, how did the opportunity come? How did you and Ezra first get introduced to each other?
We got introduced by our strength trainer, Holly, who works alongside me, and we work alongside each other every day in Brick House Boxing Gym in North Hollywood, California, one of the best boxing gyms in the world. Come check it out whenever you guys get a chance. It's an experience, just not a gym. But anyway, Holly is the strength trainer there, and I'm one of the boxers. And Holly met Ezra on another job he was doing somewhere else. And he told Ezra that he had somebody he thought that would be a very good link for him and good chemistry for him. And a meeting was set up. Ezra came to work with me on one of those days. We talked for a bit, and then we started working. And the chemistry been strong ever since. And we kept our foot on the gas ever since, regardless of any obstacles that came our way. And we're here now.
Absolutely. And just before we move on, how are you finding Nottingham so far?
I'm loving it. Yes. I'm loving it, man, because it's busy in a calm way. Because it's not that big, but it's not that it's small but not boring, if you know what I mean. You ever be to like a small place and you're like, ain't nothing going on around here, and something going on to me is literally just going to Starbucks and people watching. That's a lot for me. You know what I mean? I'm 44 years old. That's a lot to me. Like having my coffee, my cigar, people watching. Go over to the little sneaker store. You know what I mean?
I've been seeing that you've been out. You've been exploring the city. You've been around in the city centre.
The other day I'm walking and I noticed it was a Zora.
Zara.
It was a Zora. I'll go to see some clothes for my wife and see if I could see her some little stuff. It's just beautiful here, man. And vitamin store, you know, get to walk up and down the small streets with the store. I like just stuff like that. It's the smallest things that can make me very comfortable in the area. And not to mention, like, the people are very mannerable. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's
well,
good.
hopefully it's the first of many trips over here, not just with Ezra, but
absolutely.
Maybe you fancy a quick city break, come back over. You'll be welcome there.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Just moving around your stable of fighters that you've got, I think it's only right we go on to a big man, the man who...
Yes.
I was actually with my friend last night and he was asking about Deontay Wilder and when is he returning, and I said to him June 27th he is back. Before we go into the fight itself, after the last fight with Zhilei Zhang for Deontay, was there any conversations between yourself and him about him possibly hanging up the gloves and leaving sport? Because he has already got a fantastic legacy behind him.
Well, before the fight, Deontay was himself saying if he didn't perform to a certain level or get rid of Zhang how we expected to, that's something that he was considering. So after the fight, obviously, you know, Deontay isn't just like some fighter to me. He's my brother. He's someone that I believe in. I'm forever indebted in because he gave me my first shot. We had a conversation. That right there have to stay between me and him, though. Obviously, I can't break the code. And but what's more important than any of that is after the conversation, he went into recovery. He went into rest. He went into getting certain surgeries done that he needed to get done, but didn't have the time to because he was so busy fighting and training. So right now, Deontay is healthy. He's confident. And him being, like I said earlier, him being healthy, confident, and mentally just zoned in, he's the most dangerous man on the road. You all know. You guys seen what he do when he's confident and firing off all cylinders. Like, he's untouchable. He's a nightmare, And he sent people off in different dimensions, and he knocked people out cold. And that's who the fans want to see back. You know what I mean? That's who they want to see back.
You mentioned obviously having recovery and getting the surgeries, but as well as him having that recovery physically, has it given him a good time just to switch off mentally, have a bit of a rest, all mentally, and now he's got a clear head coming back? People obviously, I don't think there's much expectation and pressure on him. I think if Deontay really realises what he's done, will he be coming back this time to just enjoy it now, and he can really, really enjoy the sport?
Probably. That's like a thing, I'm sure, like him and his, his subconscious inner talk about every night. You know what I mean? I just know, in my opinion, he's one of the most dynamic fighters in the history of this sport. I know when a confident Deontay Wilder is fighting, it's electrifying. I just believe in him, and I believe what he can do, and I believe in his capabilities. And like I said, I believe him healthy is a big, boulder that was conquered because he finally had the time to get some good recovery, get some good surgery, get some good, just everything they have to do with getting your faculties together after such a long time of working, and tearing your body down. He was able to recoup from that medically, and that's good. That's good, and that's going to pay off for him come into June.
What differences will we see with Deontay Wilder on June 27th to the Deontay Wilder we've seen as of late, where I guess the one thing that a lot of people say...
he's going to be more confident, more mentally zoned in.
Will we see that right hand detonated again? Because that's the one thing we've been missing out on.
Yes, and he's going to throw it like he never threw it before. So look forward to it.
We look forward to that. And just sticking with Deontay as well, obviously, all focus on June 27th, but there is a rivalry there in that heavyweight division that people want to see settled to the biggest hitters I think we've ever seen in modern-day boxing between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Obviously, if everything goes to plan with Deontay at the end of June, Anthony Joshua, we know, has got a surgery himself coming up. But once all of that is done, will we see them settle it?
Where's my wife going? Wife, where you going? Okay. I'm sorry.
Just back to that question there. There is a rivalry that needs to be settled with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. The names have been interlinked for almost a decade now. If everything goes well at the end of June and Anthony Joshua has a successful surgery and a healthy recovery, can we see that settled? Can we finally settle the debate on who the big puncher is?
Hopefully, man. Sometimes I wish I was the business of boxing, because I would give a lot more straight answers when it comes to that. But I think the real thing is the timing, the finances, positioning move concerning rankings, promoters getting along. There's so much of that stuff that fans don't give a shit about, but that really matters, that make these type of fights. And those guys are in control of it. There was times where the fight was right there ready to happen. So we can't really put too much lenience on the promoters. The fights was lined up. All Joshua had to do was win, and all we had to do was win. But we lost to Parker, and he beat Wilder, and that was supposed to be the next fight. So the fight could have been presented at times. It's just, like I said, the timing of it just don't line up. The result of it didn't line up that time because we lost to Parker. But then even, I don't know, it just depends. It's the business. That's all.
Anthony Joshua, who was in Riyadh at the weekend, he was talking about the fight. So obviously when asked about it, in his words, he said, whenever they're ready, I'm ready.
Right.
So when Deontay is ready, if Anthony Joshua is a man of his word, do you think we can see that fight? And let's say, if we were to put a timeline in the next, from the end of the year until like the middle of next year, do you reckon that's an appropriate time frame for this fight to be made?
It'll be appropriate. I just really had, bro. Sometimes I could be like so impatient with the business part that it just makes me shut down. And when it comes to that, it makes me shut down because I know how bad the fans want this fight. I know how these two guys don't mind getting in the ring with each other, especially now, more than ever. But we just have to see how the business play out. Like, I just don't know the timeline. I just don't know, like, well, when could it happen? I just don't know.
When that fight does come around, because I'm sure it will come around eventually.
Yes.
You know Deontay probably better than most at the moment. What happens when him and Anthony Joshua get in a boxing ring eventually?
It's interesting because they both going to be fighting on their second half. And the only thing I could promise is a knockout.
But you're not sure which way it goes?
You know who I'm going with. Come on,
I know
baby.
who you're going with,
It's
Malik.
bomb squad for life, baby.
Absolutely. Just sticking again, Zurdo Ramirez is back. I think isn't it the day after Deontay? Yes. Big fight for himself on a Jake Paul undercard, but we know that Jake Paul brings the most eyes, but we know that Zurdo has also been on the biggest stages before. Is this a unification fight, or is this just a defence of his two titles already? I'm struggling to remember. I think it's just a defence.
It's a defence.
Just a defence of the WBA and WBO.
Yes, it's a defence.
Yes. What can we expect to see just the following day? We know what Zurdo brings. Is it just standard routine, the same performance that we always...
yeah. Bro, Zurdo, like I said, he can do it all. And he can do it all because he has a good teacher, Julian Chua, Chris Wong, Malik Scott, the Brick House Boxing Gym. You know what I mean? He just have a good support system. And Julian drills this guy he drills him according to Zurdo's body build. He drills him according to Zurdo's fighting style. He drills him according to everything Zurdo does very well. Then Zurdo take the floor work and go in and do it in sparring. Then from sparring, do it magnificently in fights under the lights. I'm expecting the same thing come the end of June. He's going to look good. And this guy has a good right hand, this Cuban. And when you think of anything else he has good, you can't really pinpoint too much else that's on the level of him having that good right hand. And he's on the second half. He's kind of on the decline, I would say, to where he was at one time. He has some wear and tear on him. And I just believe Zurdo going in there, focused, being himself, he could shine bright.
Absolutely. And again, similar to Deontay, there's a man that's being linked with Zurdo's name quite a bit right now in Jai Opetaia.
Yes.
I believe fights just a few weeks later in Australia.
Opetaia.
Presuming all goes well. Again, I know who you'd be going with, but
yes.
How does Zurdo beat Jai Opetaia?
In a barn burner. That's a serious fight. I heard a reporter tell Zurdo it's a 50-50 fight, and Zurdo said, no, it's not a 50-50 fight. I'm just better than him. And me being on Team Zurdo, I can understand why Zurdo say that, but then the reality of it is, when I look at Opetaia, he's so dangerous. You know what I mean? Good reflex skills, good boxing skills, explosiveness. It's just a lot there. It's a barn burner fight, man. You know who I'm going with, though. I'm going with the man, to me, that got the most tools, and that's Zurdo. I watch him show everything, all attributes.
I've heard you mention that in other interviews about, tools and how many tools you've got. What is it with you and talking about these tools and which tools?
Because I believe war is about... Okay, so one of my favorite books is The Mastery by Robert Greene. My other favorite book by Robert Greene is The Art of War, 33 Strategies, right? The more tools you have, the better chance you have at competing against your opposition in any type of warfare, right? Now, does that mean you're going to win? No, because in boxing, you can have all the tools, and somebody can have one tool, and they could just beat you because it's about punches landed, it's about power and everything. But you go into a fight a lot more confident, knowing you have more tools than your opposition. Now, having more tools mean what? That means in preparation, you have to work on a lot more things than what is your favorite thing to work on. So your favorite thing, we'll say, is working on your speed. Okay, well, once your speed is going, you're going to run into a Vernon Forrest, a Shane Mosley type fight, and your Vernon Forrest is going to have great timing. He's going to beat your speed. But if you have speed, power, agility, good punch intake, you have a solid base. You don't cross feet when you go to your left or your right. You don't do random bounces for nothing. You don't disengage too far out because you know how to make your opponents pay. That is called good counterpunching skills. So now you're a great counterpuncher with your speed, with your power, with your good base. You're almost a complete fighter. Now you're going to get somebody with one weapon. So, you know what I mean? Like that has to add up to you being the better fighter. Now you going in there and winning and applying that is the difference between agony and defeat. And a lot of times in these fights, you could have everything, but on the night it's about getting it done. And making your opponent embrace and allowing him to have to deal with it. You know what I mean? And that's really what it's about. It's about having the most skills, having the most tools. Whoever got the most tools win. I believe Oleksandr Usyk is heavyweight champion of the world, not because he do one thing good. He has a lot more tools than most fighters in the world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He has a lot more. Lennox Lewis had a lot more tools than most heavyweights in his era. It's not by accident that he is who he is. You can't just be big and get to that level just because you're big.
Absolutely.
You know?
You mentioned Oleksandr Usyk. Just last two topics from me. We'll start off with Usyk and Dubois. We know that they are set to have their big rematch at Wembley Stadium in July. Given from what you've seen, not just from that first fight, but what we've seen from both since, how different is this fight now to what it was 2 years ago in August of 2023?
Which fight?
Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois.
Well, it's different because Dubois is going in with momentum. Dubois is going in with Don Charles. I mean, there's no different. Don was there before, but I just believe Don Charles is a very good teacher. And he's a workhorse as well. And I just believe Daniel Dubois is stepping in that fight with a lot more confidence because he believed he was cheated with the body shot or low, whatever it is they call it. And I just believe he's going in there with a different mentality. And any fight that he has lost has been because of his mentality. Even the Joe Joyce fight, that's a mentality thing. If you keep getting hit with the same jab, you're not mentally switched on. You get stopped by a jab with Usyk and you get overwhelmed and you just stay on your knee. That's a mentality. He went and fixed those things, and it was triumphant in other fights after that. And won those fights when he was in those same positions. He's going into this fight a lot more confident. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, Usyk just have to do what Usyk do, and he's not going to have no problems, hopefully. Hopefully. You got to say hopefully because he's dealing with a different Daniel Dubois going in with a lot more confidence because he had put the back work in with those other victories. He put the back work in immensely with the other victories and what him and Don Charles has been working on. So it's a good fight. Any betting man or anybody that would predict the fight, I'm sure they would have to go with Usyk as the favor because what happened last time. And just like Usyk momentum lately is going on good. So, but we'll see. It's definitely one to watch.
One of the big talking points with this fight, when I've seen people talking about it, has been that people believe that Dubois might be catching Usyk at the perfect time. They believe that Father Time is catching up to Usyk. People are saying that while we're not seeing anything different in his performances, they're saying that he might be on the slide now. Do you see it similarly, or do you?
No, that just reminds me of like if you walking on water, people's quick to say, "Oh, you're only doing that because you can't swim." It's just always something. So if Usyk, so now that come across like just because you're considered the best, let's stop rooting for him. No, you don't stop rooting for Michael Jordan just because he's the best player. He's still a man. He's making himself be the best. He's putting in the work to be the best. Humans with this thing is just crazy, man. So it's almost like I haven't seen Oleksandr Usyk hasn't showed me anything of a decline yet. All fighters do eventually, but I just haven't seen it in him. But people just want to look for anything and say it's the perfect time for him to fight him now. Maybe. They may be right, but I just haven't seen what they've seen in Usyk. Usyk's last fight was who? Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury, yes.
I didn't see no decline in that. Absolutely not. And he handled Fury. He handled Fury in that fight.
Would you say he handled Fury better in the first fight or the second fight?
Second fight.
Okay.
But the second fight, guess what? He handled him better in the second fight, but the second fight to me, Fury was better, but I still thought he lost. He looked so much better, but I still thought he lost. So what does that mean? That means Oleksandr Usyk is just that good that you can go and do. You can go recuperate, get another game plan, remotivate yourself and everything, and come back, and it still just won't be enough. He's that good. It ain't because Tyson Fury wanted it like that. No, he didn't allow him to get. He's that good, just period. You don't beat AJ Tyson. He beat AJ twice, Tyson Fury twice. Stop Daniel Dubois. You guys know all the other names.
Yes.
Bro, he's incredible. He's incredible. You hear how Tony Bellew talk about him? And Tony Bellew was in a good fight with him. Tony Bellew performance with him, to me, is something that people really need to be. If you're looking for the loopholes of Oleksandr Usyk, you can't look at him. You can't look for him in these heavyweights that he's fighting, these big heavyweights, because they can't keep up with him. You got to go back to the Michael Hunter fight. You got to watch the early rounds of Tony Bellew, things like that. Like, you just have to, because what he's doing to these big guys, and the most ignorant thing you can say is, man, they're so much bigger than him, they need to just go and just overwhelm him. It's not that easy. You can't just do that to him. And once again, I say it all the time. I'm someone that's been in there with them numerous of times. It's not that easy. He has good balance. He punch harder than he's give credit for. He's a very hard body puncher. He has good head movement. He move out the way of punches just enough to make you pay with his big shots. You feel those big shots. He's overwhelming you. You can't respect Lomachenko for his foot movement and then not respect Usyk for his. The foot movement is from the same cloth. 1 minute he's in front of you, next minute he's not. But you're still getting hit, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing.
Just lastly from me, Canelo versus Crawford. We know that fight is now done, especially after the weekend's action. One thing with Crawford, which we've seen, is there's just a pattern of seems to be one fight a year.
Yeah.
Now, there's pros and cons to this, I believe, and I want to get your take on it. Obviously, the cons. It's not enough ring activity for a top-level fight. I don't think one fight a year, and a lot of people agree that it's not enough activity. But in this instance, he's going up from 154 to 168, and he's giving his body the right amount of time to bulk himself up properly. Where I feel he eliminates that argument of Canelo's the bigger man. I feel come the night they might be the same size. Do you see it in the same way?
Yes. I don't see this whole he's so much bigger than him, he's going to outmuscle him. No, because unlike most boxing gyms in their system, Crawford has already been into wrestling. So when it comes to clinches, he actually wants to be there. He's comfortable there because guess what? It go back to what? Tools. So now that's another tool in his arsenal. So it makes him more comfortable when it comes to clinch time. Canelo's not going to be doing what he want to do to Crawford when it's clinch time. He's not just going to be muscling him around. And he's going to find out very early if he think that's going to be it. It's just not. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I don't want to say a prediction right now, but if you're counting Crawford out, you're counting wrong. So wrong. You're way off.
I'm not going to ask you to make a prediction, but who do you make the favourite going into it?
The favorite is going to go to, especially if it's a numbers game, is going to go to Canelo. But the ones that's in the know is going to say Crawford. Yeah.
Absolutely. Malik, I could sit here and keep talking to you all day and picking that brain of yours, but I'm going to let you go because I know you've been doing a lot of interviews today.
Yes, man. But
Thank you for your time, and I look forward to catching up again very soon.
My man. Yes.
Thank
God
you very
bless
much,
you, brother.
Malik.
Peace.